Hello, I'm Amy Malm. I'm the administrator over the Division of Financial Regulation here at the Office of the Commissioner of Insurance, or OCI. And with me today, I have Rebecca Rebholz, who is the administrator over the Division of Market Regulation and Enforcement. That includes oversight of agent appointments. We are doing this video to provide an important information to agents on some current events happening in the Wisconsin market, particularly as it relates to the town mutual industry. Today, we are going to provide an update on the movement we are seeing in the town mutual industry, update on the Wisconsin Reinsurance Corporation and First Auto and Casualty Insurance Company, and how it is impacting agents. What happens in a liquidation, and more specifically to First Auto, their policies and any unearned premium on those policies when a company goes to liquidation. Rebecca is going to go over your responsibility as an agent appointments, the availability of the Wisconsin Auto Insurance Plan, and wrapping up with agent resources. For the town mutual industry update, we are seeing a considerable movement in the town mutual industry as a result of the rehabilitation of WRC and First Auto. On January 1, 2023, there were 44 town mutuals insurers licensed in Wisconsin, and today we have 43. And on January 1, 2024, we are anticipating that the number of town mutual insurers will decrease to 8 based on this activity. 34 of Wisconsin's 44 town mutual insurers utilize WRC as a reinsurer for 23. Because we are currently in a hard reinsurance market and the size of the town mutual's book of business, it is difficult for them to find replacement reinsurance. As a result of these conditions, we are seeing a significant number of mergers, conversions, and affiliations. We have 8 town mutuals merging into another town mutual, 13 of the town mutuals merging into what we call a traditional insurer, Chapter 611. We have 7 coming together to form one Chapter 611 insurer. We have another 2 coming together to form another Chapter 611 insurer. 2 are converting to a Chapter 611 insurer on a standalone basis. And we have 4 that are converting to standalone Chapter 611 insurers, and then they are affiliating with another traditional Chapter 611 insurer for their program. For a WRC and First Auto update, as part of this presentation, we wanted to provide an update on WRC and First Auto. As you may know, in May of this year, or 23, OCI petitioned the Dane County Circuit Court to place WRC and First Auto into rehabilitation for the protection of policyholders, with agents, policyholders, and creditors all being notified of the filing. In June, the court ordered the rehabilitation of First Auto and WRC, and OCI began socializing the concept of a rehabilitation plan in a town hall meeting with WRC and its clients, mostly town mutual insurers. Then in July, we filed that plan with the court and received court approval. Unfortunately, there was a lack of interest in the rehabilitation plan, and with no other alternatives, OCI made the decision to petition the court to place WRC and First Auto into liquidation. We are currently in what is known as an objection period that runs through December 5th, 23. As required by law, we have notified agents, policyholders, and creditors of the petition filing. So what comes next? If there are any objections to the plan, OCI will have to file a response to those objections, and the judge has set a tentative hearing date for December 20th, 23 to hear any objections. If there are no objections received during the objection period, then we are anticipating the judge will sign the order to replace WRC and First Auto into liquidation with an effective date of January 1, 2024 for the liquidation. To stay abreast of information on WRC and First Auto, we encourage you to visit our website at oci.wi.gov/WRC. When a liquidation is ordered by the court, then 15 days from the effective date of the liquidation, all policies automatically terminate per Wisconsin law. This may be different in other states. Overall, this does not provide policyholders much time to find alternative coverage. At the time of liquidation, any open claims will be transferred to the Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund or to the security fund in your state if you are outside of Wisconsin. The guarantee fund will then determine the eligibility for those claims and the amount of coverage, which may be lower than your policy limits. Coverage limits are set by state statute and vary from state to state. OCI is assuming that the judge will sign the liquidation order with an effective date of January 1, 2024, which is essentially when business will cease. And specifically to first auto policies, with OCI's assumption, we are recommending and encouraging agents to work with clients now to ensure your clients have the necessary coverage to protect their assets. We cannot stress enough that agents should not wait until their clients come to them for assistance, because the lack of prompt action could result in policyholders not having the protection they need and not receiving any return premium for early cancellation. In my previous slide, I mentioned policyholders may not have received return premium for early cancellation if they wait too long. In order to reasonably ensure that policyholders would have return premium on early cancellation of policies, we are suggesting that policyholders seek alternative coverage by December 15th, 2023, and then once replacement coverage is bound, they cancel their first auto policy. After December 15th, the policyholder runs the risk of not receiving any return premium on unearned premium based on early cancellation. Once the company is ordered into liquidation, state statutes prescribe the priority of payment and establish deductibles on various items. For return of unearned premium, there is a $50 deductible on any unearned premium and cannot be paid until claims of a higher priority are paid. So for example, if a policyholder were to receive have $100 in return premium available to them, they would after the deductible, they would only receive $50. Moving on to the liquidation priority. This slide shows at a very high level the priority of payments when a company is in liquidation. As you will see, unearned premium comes after paying all administrative costs to administer the liquidation and claim payments. Therefore, it is very unlikely that unearned premium will not be paid. It's very likely that unearned premium will not be paid. Overall, it depends on the amount of assets within the state. We do want to highlight some agent responsibilities as a result of all the activity and potential liquidation of first auto. Once liquidation is effective, agents have the responsibility to provide written notice via first-class mail to the latest address contained in their records for each policyholder or other named on the policy, for example, a lien holder. Notice must include the name of First Auto and Casualty Insurance Company in liquidation, the agent's name and address, and identification of the policy impaired. State law requires that the notice be provided as soon as practical. And agents must provide oral notice by telephone or otherwise of the liquidation order and information contained in written notice to any person receiving written notice as so far as practical. And we realize this does put a burden on agents. I'm now going to turn it over to Rebecca Rebholz to cover more specific items on agents.
Thank you, Amy. Agent appointments are another agent responsibility. So as you're moving clients from First Auto, it is your job to make sure you're properly appointed with any insurance company that you submit applications to. Since an agent can be appointed with multiple companies, agents can begin the appointment process with new companies at any time. Just bear in mind that the insurer has to submit your appointment request to our office within 15 days of executing the agent contract or within 15 days of receiving the first application, whichever comes first. So you can submit an application to a new company and get the appointment process started pretty much at any time. One caution, though, especially since there are so many moving parts in this situation, is that you should verify that you're properly appointed with any companies you're submitting applications to. You can do that by following the link on this slide and entering your information into SBS. And be aware that only active appointments are going to show up. So if you don't see a specific appointment, that means it's not active. I would also like to touch on the Wisconsin Auto Insurance Plan, or WAIP. And I expect that everyone is aware of the WAIP, but as a refresher and to keep this information top of mind, there may be cases where your first auto clients or other clients are not able to find coverage through the voluntary market, regardless of the price. In that case, it is the agent's responsibility to work with the client and submit an application to the WAIP. Of course, the WAIP rates tend to be higher than what a client might find in the voluntary market. However, WAIP does provide coverage of last resort, and a client can keep looking for other coverage and move off the WAIP when they find an alternative. All licensed P&C agents can submit applications to the WAIP. You don't need to be specifically appointed with them. We do get contacts sometimes at OCI that an agent has tried to hand off a client to another agent for the WAIP application process. I would ask you not to do that. When that question comes in, we do let agents know that they're expected to assist clients with these applications rather than passing them on to someone else to handle. And then finally, if you have market regulation questions that OCI can potentially assist with, please reach out to us. Our Consumer Affairs section handles questions about consumer notices and billings. They can also provide assistance if your client was denied coverage and if you have concerns about the reasons for that denial. And they can assist with questions about the proper exchange of business between agents and the sharing of commissions. The relevant code and statute section for those last 2 points are listed on the slide. But if you still have questions after reviewing those requirements, feel free to reach out to us. Sending an email to the OCI complaints mailbox will not automatically result in a complaint. Rather, those email questions are treated as requests for information, and we don't send them to a company for the response. Instead, we just identify and answer internally and respond back to the requester. Our agent licensing section handles questions about the agent licensing and appointment processes, questions about agents' information in SBS, and questions about pre-licensing or continuing education. We're also piloting a chat feature in our agent licensing section, so you can use that as an option to ask questions, or just send us an email to the agent licensing mailbox as listed on the screen. And then in summary, it goes without saying that we're in a state of flux right now in the area of property and casualty, and specifically within the town mutual sector. On the market regulation side, we're receiving questions from consumers about premium increases, and we're hearing about the difficulty of finding coverage. We're also receiving questions about policy non-renewals as part of stricter company underwriting. So right now, it's really crucial that agents are actively assisting their clients for first auto, but also with any other coverage transitions that might be needed. And during this challenging time, we encourage agents to contact us if you have questions or if you're not sure how to proceed. We may not always have the answer or the answer you were hoping for, but we'll provide assistance wherever we can. And I'll hand off now to Amy again for financials perspective and final thoughts.
Thank you, Rebecca. From the financial regulation perspective, I want to echo Rebecca's comments on the importance to assist first auto clients and all your clients. We want first auto clients to have time to consider all their options now before being faced with a decision that has to be made only within a few days, or possibly when they have no coverage at all. And we recognize there's a lot of flux happening in our town mutual industry. And if you have any questions on what the town mutual you write for or are appointed for is doing, feel free to reach out to them directly, as they have they should be keeping you abreast of that information. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. Thanks.